Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2, gracing us with his colossal presence in the Big Game Weekly. The man himself battling his way through once again. It's Big Game, aka HeroMarine, joined by his equally unknowable counterpart, currently battling for rank 1 as Protoss in the entire world, the mysterious MaxPax. Yeah, starting things off in a best of 5 here in the ESL. Okay, not too much time for introductions or filler. Yes, something a little forward, a little aggressive. Yes, I'm telling you to like and subscribe yet again, but also this gateway. MaxPax with a twist on the build he was first discovered for, as he slaps a gateway down in the center of the map, as HeroMarine builds 2 command centers in his own base. That base is big enough for 2 command centers, though maybe not Big Gabe himself as he floats his way down. Reaper comes in, citizen's arrest attempted, but slips away, though the probe... Oh, okay, I thought the probes might chase. First adept here, but what is the intent? I think he's just preparing for the early blink. Oh, we'll see. Adding some adepts on. Twilight, 2 gates back at home. I mean, I guess it could go into DTs. I'm not going to try to predict the future, as the present is already interesting enough. And a present indeed. That early adept sniped off by the Cyclone. Reaper going to come in. Try to dodge back and forth. Shade boxing out from the Nexus at the natural. Gets another tap on the Reaper. 3 Stalkers just show up. I don't know what I'm thinking. Blink. He just walks up with 3 Stalkers, and already enough to keep HeroMarine from his natural. I think there was a reason why Big Gabe decided to build his command center on the high ground. And that's because he knows that MaxPax, while he's tempered that aggression somewhat, it's become less reckless and more measured, but still aggressive nonetheless. And right now, just 6 gateway units in his natural. Another adept is sniped off. The Stalkers doing their best to joust with the Marines right now. And overall, I'm not convinced that MaxPax is finding the value he was looking for out of those Stalkers. He loses 4 Stalkers, 2 adepts for 5 Marines, and an SCV. Well, he gets the Cyclone here at the end of things. Reaper coming in, actually slips by the adept. And, oh no, he lost track of it. Oh, and HeroMarine. What seemed to be a near bulletproof defense is somewhat softened by the loss of the Reaper before the Scout and the Cyclone. But overall, I think MaxPax's not getting nearly as much as he would have liked to from that early aggression. The link is nearly done, though. HeroMarine knows what the threat is, and remember, he went 3 command center, which means his economy is perfectly fine. Pretty amazing, actually, as with a few mules kicking in until MaxPax is able to get that 3rd base up and running, HeroMarine's going to be completely comfortable on his economy. Really, it is more about the Protoss being able to get 3 bases up rather than the Terran relatively early on, as the most important thing for Terran is getting that infrastructure, getting the barracks, getting the 3 to 5 barracks, a factory, and a reactored starport early here. So barracks 4 and 5 are on the way. Barracks 2 and 3 finishing up. The anti-blink Stalker setup, not exactly a wall, but just something to funnel whatever gateway units, well, really whatever units end up coming in into a more manageable position. Now, I don't know if the observer was spotted here. Indeed it was, and the Stalkers will blink in, but a tank is already in position. The stim pack upgrade, somewhat vulnerable. An angle was found here, and MaxPax would like to at least get the reactor. But overall, HeroMarine with plenty of siege tanks will box out the Stalkers, and once again MaxPax rebuffed on his attempted Stalker aggression. Behind this, we've got... Ooh, what was canceled there? I did miss it, I believe. I think it was just a gateway, but ends up canceling something at the natural, adding a few more gates on. And MaxPax is just trying to fill out his army. This is shaping up to be one of the more dangerous timings here. The triple threat, well, the Stimpack combat shield and +1 infantry weapons on the way. Heromarine with 64 SCVs to 64 probes, now looking to take his third. Already that orbital done, of course. MaxPax's proxy gate pylon shut down. No spylons. Oh, a few spylons out there. Taking a look around. Stimpack finishing up. But Heromarine is in no position. Well, he's not going to feel obligated to attack. If he thinks he smells weakness, then maybe. But you're on a perfectly fine economy. I don't even think MaxPax, he did see the third command center. He might not realize exactly how early it came up, but he knows that Heromarine is not going to be hurting economically. So what flavor of Protoss is MaxPax going to throw his way? Are we going to see the double Ds of destruction right off the bat? The Disruptors and the Dark Templar? Or is it more of a charge-a-lot play? As you spam the Zealots in an attempt to either counterattack or just flood the front line with so many charge lots that the Terran army really can't compete. Well, TBD for now, as neither player has really committed to anything past these 3 bases. Just continuing to build up, and it looks like neither is the answer. It's going to be Twilight Council, Templar Archives, very likely going to be for Archons. Doubtful it's going to be Storm. Archons are the obvious progression here. An attempt. Oh, Heromarine thinking about surrounding this army. There's 2 interference matrices. Scrambles 2 of the Colossi. And MaxPax may have reached a little far. He juggled back one of the Colossi. And overall, MaxPax gets all 3 Colossi out. That's the best he could hope for in that scenario, biting off significantly more than he could chew. And Heromarine, not a resounding success, but definitely not a defeat. Gonna make it a little bit easier to move out now that he's sitting at 164 supply. You got an armory, which is not always a guarantee in this matchup very early on. A lot of players will focus on getting enough army supply. So the Colossi will burn through the rocks, open up another opportunity to attack towards Heromarine. I think the most important part of all this is going to be the counterattacks. The War Prism, the Zealotlings in this case. Anything you can do to keep Heromarine busy. And giving him a nice punch to the face may very well help as he loses the Raven. Disruptor wanders forward, unfortunately, though. And a bit of a tit-for-tat there, which MaxPax probably didn't intend. Scouting Disruptor is a notorious use of a very expensive unit. Meanwhile, Mine Drop coming out. Good reaction time from MaxPax, but he is going to have to retreat and find some detection. Or some way to deal with the medevac itself. Small charge lock counter. Dealt with. Widowmine's going to drop out again, doing whatever he can. There's already a cannon in the main. MaxPax keeping up. Still chilling on the high ground. Not the high ground, the middle of the map, rather. Technically the high ground, but not really what I was going for. I could have just played it off. Okay, pretended... Like, no, but who's going to question? Obviously, he's on the high ground, but it was inaccurate, all right? Accuracy is what I strive for and fail to accomplish. But still, the important part is I try. And with that aside completed, Heromarine going to turn MaxPax aside for now. As a Widowmine, some tanks, and MaxPax not intimidated. Still hanging out here, even though the EMPs can wash all over the entire army. Couple Vikings gonna soften things up. Widowmine was dealt with, but down goes a Colossus. Marauders from the high ground. Disruptor shot. Beautiful split. Finds nothing. Another shot. That one gets a connection. But the momentum has already shifted in Big Gabe's favor. And he's chasing down the Colossi across the map. And this is before the 2-2 upgrades complete. The EMP concave there with the Vikings over the top. More than enough to turn the tides of that fight very much in HeroMarine's favor. Small Zealot counterattack. We don't mind somehow didn't trigger there. There's still a Warp Prism in a precarious position. A supply depot ensconced that bunker. Whoa, the Zealot slides in, eviscerates, just slices in half the Marauder, but gun down and turn. Behind all this, MaxPax, this is what he was doing against Beyond. I'm kind of getting into that habit of feeling like the Protoss is behind because they keep losing these fights. But MaxPax has really stepped up in the last few weeks, it feels like. I don't know, maybe it's been more than that, but his ability to hang with the Terran in terms of supply, I mean, he's got 11 gates, he's got double robo, adding on a Dark Shrine, another Nexus. He's not letting HeroMarine just take the map and sitting with his back up against the wall. He's out in the middle of the map with all his disruptors, slams into the ghosts, and another bit of the army. Tries to dodge, he catches him on the curveball there. Another fadeaway shot, the disruptors on their own, meanwhile the army on the left flank. So many charge lots here from MaxPax. He has not taken this lion down. The Terrans have had too long roaming the fields with their ghosts and their Vikings. No, MaxPax is finding a way to take it back. Still, though, that is a lot of damage output. The disruptors are required. If he doesn't find those connections, the sheer DPS of the Bio Ball will quite easily roll almost any amount of gateway units. Widowmine softens up the front line. The charge lot's gonna try to overwhelm here. If he can partition any decent amount of these units off. Divide and conquer. Though who's dividing and who's conquering who? What a hectic fight here in the middle of the map. Another, he just follows through the shot. He knows that HeroMarine's gonna be microing at the front. As we adjust the mic stand about half a dozen times. Mike has quite a lopsided setup. So, after all those exchanges and skirmishes, 200 supply across the board. That was just flirting. All right, now let's get down to business. The medevacs, mostly over to the right flank. The Bio finally joining them. Vikings looking for a target, not finding anything. I have no idea. There's no Warp Prism on the field, just mass charge lots. Disruptor shots thrown out. HeroMarine leans into a shot, looking away for a moment. And now many of those units won't be looking at all. EMPs. There's also a drop up to the north. MaxPax reacted to it. 190 supply. Still, massive macro from both sides. But the fadeaway shot slams into HeroMarine. And these connections are looking beautiful right now. HeroMarine beaten back with several shots directly to the face. MaxPax predicting the splits and landing the connections. Honestly, HeroMarine looking away for some, but I think part of it is MaxPax not being afraid to just let the shot go through. It is a bit of a mind game, counter mind game when it comes to Ruptors, because you know they're gonna split, and sometimes you just cover the whole field. HeroMarine starting to really dip here. Constantly out of money. Meanwhile, MaxPax, 14 gateways, near 200 supply, 93 probes. And here come the kickers here. The Dark Templar. Does he already have Blink? No. No Shadow Stride, but still a danger to a Terran player who's one bad fight away from the constant defense. For now, HeroMarine still has enough to compete. But if he takes another couple disruptor hits, that can spiral downwards. Unfortunately, without the Blink, the SCVs able to be repaired in time. More Ruptors finding not particularly much. And MaxPax, he lost a huge amount of supply between the DTs and the army on the right flank. But guess what? Warp Gate exists and used to great effect here. He warped in another couple dozen zealots as the shots just keep raining in from both sides. Disruptors bullying their way forward. Charge lots running out in front. Another connection. Looking for the SCVs. Fires to the back line. Scatter shot finds some connections. blinks onto the Planetary. The SCVs! The SCV! Oh my god! What a no! How many times? Fighting into a Planetary, convinced he's got it. 3, 4, 5 times. The disruptors could have broken it. But no, instead, on the back of the Planetary Fortress, it looks like MaxPax has made a miscalculation. Oh, how many times have we seen this? Every player, from bronze to top grandmaster, to literally the best players in Europe. I'm not sure HeroMarine was convinced. In fact, I'm reasonably sure that HeroMarine thought that Planetary would die, but he's very happy it didn't. And that may very well dictate the pace of this game from here to the end. As MaxPax is no longer, despite his 14 gateways, that's not enough. The problem is now, though, even if he adds more gateways, he's not going to have the income to support it in the future. He's lost 2 bases. After breaking his army against the Planetary, he no longer has the ability, the critical mass of units to bully HeroMarine off these positions. He doesn't have the ability to protect his disruptors and attack in other places simultaneously. Here come the cannons. There go the cannons. Stalkers, oh, trying to chase down. I believe he used the blink to try to chase in the first place, but HeroMarine over to the right flank. MaxPax is maxed out again. And HeroMarine, will he send him packs in his bags? Or can he turn it around? Disruptor shots. Not finding much. MaxPax keeps dipping heavily in supply. HeroMarine is just running him around, but enough Stalkers are warped in. MaxPax has lost about the same amount of gas, but 7,000 more minerals. Oh, he's so close. Yet, none of these fights now, after holding that Planetary, the momentum so clearly shifted. MaxPax is going to go for a bit of a desperate base trade, but not so desperate as to be impossible. He has the army. He has the position. He has the opportunity. Will he capture it? Or will he let it slip? You gotta be careful the disruptors don't kill more of your own units. HeroMarine coming in from the north side, staggering the shots. Disruptors doing pretty well for themselves so far. Still another shot. Great connection. Down goes what I think was the last Colossus. Stalkers buffering here. So many medevacs. Fadeaway shot. HeroMarine looking the wrong way. And the disruptors. Oh, but the Planetary don't. You know. Not again. Not again. MaxPax takes a few shots at the Planetary, realizes where he is right there, and just moves on. That Planetary at this point has plot armor. And I'm not talking about tasteless, no. It is just too much for MaxPax to handle. He goes for the squishier third base. The orbital command still battling for it. This is one of the most hectic Terran versus Protoss battles in the most back and forth. As HeroMarine still, the momentum, MaxPax is seizing the aggression right now. He's relying entirely on the pace of the game to go in his favor. He's relying entirely on keeping HeroMarine looking the wrong way during these disruptor hits. He's relying entirely on the speed at which he can put more units on the field. He's relying on probes chasing down SCVs. And somehow he's taken back the supply lead as HeroMarine has Planetaries across the board. Probes are fighting Planetaries, but MaxPax is fighting his way up the ramp. He's trying desperately to break HeroMarine here, but he's still got 43 probes back at home. He's in the main, but the medevacs are holding. And just like we started with a few Stalkers getting gunned down, HeroMarine holds. Wow. HeroMarine takes game 1. The Planetary Fortress. I don't think Hero Planetary Fortress would really roll off the tongue as well as HeroMarine, but it would be more appropriate. That was certainly Well, one of the best games I've ever seen, but both players making mistakes and recovering and making more mistakes, but not such mistakes like these are not they just messed up, but instead they overcommitted slightly and were punished. In the most, not a conservative, no, an incredibly aggressive game. Well, and now let's all calm down and head into game 2. MaxPax checking his corners, walling off the natural. Both of them, they're so good at macro. It takes so much presence of mind, and I think that is part of why you saw the very slight slip as well. Even these players, not perfect. Building all those units, making sure you're staying on point with your economy, expanding, moving your workers around, and microing multiple fronts. You saw HeroMarine eat some of those disruptor hits, a few more units shaved off when they didn't need to be for MaxPax. So many units lost so quickly. And even until that's the perfect game. Until the end, until GG is called, or at least within a few seconds of it, you're not exactly sure who's gonna take it. Well, I hope for such anticipation again. But so far, well, last game wasn't a particularly, I'm not actually sure what MaxPax is trying to accomplish. Definitely trying to catch HeroMarine off guard, clearly, with that, kind of like a next generation MaxPax build there. The gateway timing. But at the end of the day, even one Cyclone, I guess, I'm working it out for my, I'm talking it through. If HeroMarine goes for Widowmine or Hellion opener, which is not unheard of at all, or if he goes for the double gas, though I believe this was scouted, so we knew it wasn't a double gas opener. If he goes for anything but a Cyclone, if he goes for one of the less dangerous factory units, even a Widowmine, then the Stalkers can just walk up and do a bunch of damage. But the Cyclone is a safe, if expensive, counter to most early game Protoss in small numbers. So, at least I believe that was the thought process from MaxPax there. Trying to catch HeroMarine a little off guard, but just not finding it. Even though he did go 3cc, expanding the high ground. Now it's time. Okay, we're in a different game though, Winter. Alright, do you even know where you are anymore? Are you hallucinating? Have you lost your mind? Well, if this is madness or the afterlife, well, hopefully, you'll like and subscribe for my continued hallucinations. So far, an attempt at the Reaper Hellion. Adepts box it out. Cloak Banshee. All right. Interesting. Definitely something. This is one of those builds. It's reliant almost entirely on being unscouted, I feel. Cloak Banshee can work just fine against Protoss, but you have very little margin for error. There's not a small chance that MaxPax just swats it out of the sky and walks across with Blink Stalkers. But at the same time, well, another problem with the Cloak Banshee is, well, did he get a Reaper in the main? He saw the battery. So usually the play is to just kill the battery or go straight for the natural. So we'll see. An interesting play to go for the Cloak Banshee after seeing the battery. He may wait for 2 Banshees in order to just kind of fire through the shield battery. Or he may be forced to use that second... Yeah, he does have a second one. Where are you, Banshee? Oh, heading out. Well, unfortunately, the Stalkers are heading in. Yeah, and one tank isn't going to be enough here. Well. So there are a few reasons you don't go Cloak Banshee, usually, against Protoss. One is they have a lot of built-in counters, and two is you may just die to Blink Stalkers, which, I'll be honest, is a bit embarrassing. Alright, and just like that, we're all tied up. Okay. Well executed Blink timing. Probably a little surprised as to why there was... Like, there should have been a Raven or something like that. Nope. Nope. There were two Banshees just hanging out on the other side of the map. Classic Banshee move. Reliving the glory days of when people built Cloak Banshees and did anything with them. Which was never really a thing against Protoss, but sure, we can pretend. We were hallucinating, remember, so... Alright, well, with that, got a best of 3 now. And it's important to remember, for every highlight game those other YouTubers will show you, there's a game like that one waiting right behind it to remind you what Starcraft is all about. Don't mistake someone else's highlight reel for their entire experience. Game 3. And speaking of MaxPax, Royal Blood. And though I believe he or it has said they aren't actually Danish royalty, that's exactly what Danish royalty would say. To pretend that he isn't indeed the reigning king and/or prince of Denmark, which I assume they have. Not gonna expand on that at risk of offending approximately 50% of my audience. And the rest too. Now what? I got no analytical breakdown for that game. That was just, if you go Cloak Banshee and they go Blink, then there's a good chance you die. MaxPax did quite a committed Blink build, I believe 4 gate. But Cloak Banshee is... It doesn't have too many advantages over the Widowmine in terms of the effectiveness against Protoss early. Besides just kind of the surprise, I guess. And it's a little harder to react to it if you're unprepared because the Banshees can chase your probes a lot easier, but it is a lot more expensive, takes a lot more time. And there are some clear weaknesses that we saw there. Twilight again! Do we see a new flavor of Twilight? There's so many. There's so many different strains. No, that's a Zerg thing. Different... I like flavors from the Twilight Council. But looks like we're gonna go with vanilla. Blink it is. Heromarine, I want to point out, I don't know if he's playing against Protoss or against MaxPax. I mean, it's both, clearly. But every game, he's built his command center on the high ground. Alright, he's so, okay. Am I a crazy person? Yes. Is that relevant? Not really. Didn't we just play this game? It is Blink, and it's 3-gate Robo. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4-gate Robo against Cloak Ban. But what's gonna be All right, big game. What's going to be different this time? Clue me in. Give me a sign. Like a smoke signal. I'm not... He clearly thinks this is a build to do. I'm sounding disparaging against, obviously, HeroMarine, who is the most experienced, well, one of, if not the most experienced Terran in Europe. I'm interested to see how it stacks up. Like, what adjustments do you make? It's just my voice that sounds condescending. I understand that. Most of the time it's supposed to, but in this case, I'm legitimately wondering what he's going to do. Well, I guess build more bunkers. Okay, most Bronze League heroes could have told you that one. It's like, have you tried building bunkers everywhere? You know you can teleport your units with bunkers? Yes, technically, but... Okay, well, Blink is done. The Banshees are out there. The bunker is completed, just barely in time. There's a tank on each side of things. So, gonna be a bit of a tougher base to break into this time around. Sees that HeroMarine is clearly defended. The Banshees already cloaking their way in. And if they get into the mineral line, well, the Foxes are in the hen house. Okay, well, the Banshee is just ripping through the probes. Is there an observer? There is. It's on the other side of the map, I believe. He has to recall. Did he recall the observer? Oh my god. That's a horrible feeling. And that's, I think, what HeroMarine was trying to accomplish there. Just abusing the fact that MaxPax, expecting to be... Oh my... Okay, well... Yeah. For every part of that last game that those Banshees... Like, for everything they didn't do last game, they have this one. And then some. 19 probe kills? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, we'll see if he just dies here. Okay, this is the deciding part of the game. Ooh, does he just die to Blink Stalker? So far, not exactly. Well, the warp, he's not going for the prism. I think, well, now he is. Okay. Gets the Raven. Recall was already used, remember. So, yeah, this is clearly desperation. MaxPax maybe had a moment when a tank or two was unsieged, but that moment has passed. Lincoln, you'll miss it. Yeah. Well, he got 11 SCV kills. That's not enough. That's not remotely enough. He does have 3 Nexi, but MaxPax, I think part of it is the mind game of doing pretty much the exact same build. Now, okay. MaxPax never even saw the Banshees on Gresvin. He never even saw them. Not because they were cloaked, but because they never showed up in the base. So, there's a chance MaxPax, like, this is actually the first time he's dealing with it. Once again, I'm kind of working through the thought process. I'm slow and old. Those they don't necessarily go hand in hand, but now that I think about it, yeah, this is actually the first game where MaxPax is directly dealing with the Banshees. They never even came in for a poor attempt at doing damage on Gresvin. So, HeroMarine, like, if I could just live to do damage with the Banshees. It looks like he was correct about that. But I was counting MaxPax out. I'm gonna count him down now instead of out, because clearly HeroMarine has a huge advantage in his army supply, in his weight class, and in his economy. But MaxPax has Blink Stalkers and a dream. So, I mean, the surviving Blink Stalkers. Many of them died in the first attack. They're gonna go for the third base, but there's a reason they're able to get this much damage done. He recalls onto the third, but the battery's gone, and so is MaxPax, as HeroMarine just rips his way through. Okay, I'm on board with the Banshees. If the Banshees get into their base and they have no detection, and they kill 20 probes, I can see it. I've come around. I know. How generous of me to respect HeroMarine and say his build wasn't just silly. Well, that puts him up 2-1. It does feel like a little like the MaxPax got the rug taken out from under the... Yeah. The MaxPax got the rug taken out from under him. Which is... That sounds uncomfortable. To say the very least. Golden Retrievers really like rugs. So... At least from my limited... Game 4! Thank you guys for making it this far. It's been quite an experience, from the most dramatic, heated, and exhausting exchange to a couple different versions of Cloak Banshee, and then quickly leading us here to Dragon Scales. That is both the beauty and the curse of Starcraft 2, is how dynamic the game is. And I think what leads to so much of the ladder anxiety and just difficulty in scheduling tournaments, in how a best of 3 could be over in 6 minutes, or a single game could take over an hour. At least not Heart of the Storm, where it was like 3 hours. But I mean, you can hedge your bets a bit. I'm not sure which end of that spectrum this one's going to be on. Dragon Scales does tend towards a bit more of timing-oriented gameplay. Nice way of saying, like, 2-base all-in. I like that. Timing-oriented gameplay. How is it put? Designated pressure. Which is a nice way for saying super cheesy. There is a difference, though, between a timing and all-in and cheese, though there's a lot of overlap in that particular Venn diagram as well. I would definitely say, and feel free to argue, any engagement's good engagement, right? That a cheese is something like, for example, those Banshees. That was a cheese. It wasn't necessarily all in, but a cheese is something that if, for example, your opponent either had map hacks or at least they had like a minute of warning because they scouted it, is also a way to do it. It becomes significantly less effective, more than 50% less effective. Like, if MaxPax just simply has an observer at home, those Banshees do not kill 20 probes. They might not even kill 10 or 5 probes. In fact, the Banshees may die. But a difference would be I'm completely drawing a blank somehow, despite all of the strategies. Like a tank timing, where if you know a 2-base tank timing with like 3 barracks and stim is coming, or even more, something more that HeroMarine likes, which is moving out with a handful of Marines, like a Cyclone and a Viking. Even if you know that's coming, you literally just cannot have enough units to crush it. There's nothing that directly crushes it or deals with it. You just have to either overbuild defenses to deal with that, and then that carries the risk of not being able to deal with any sort of follow-up, or just kind of anticipate it and be ready to micro, like by having 4 or 5 stalkers or something and cutting back and forth. So that's a difference between a cheese and an all-in, though many times they can be the same. Speaking of the same, though, 4 for 4 so far. Blink. A Robo from MaxPax. He knows what he wants. Not going with the Stargate. Now, this is a distinct difference from Hero, who favors the Stargate more games than not, even against Terran. But MaxPax has always been a big fan of the Twilight. From Glaive to Depths to Dark Templar and Blink Stalkers. The Twilight Protoss. I like that. I like that. It works. We don't know exactly. We can't tell exactly who he is. But we know he stalks from the shadows. Heromarine lining up his defenses. I think understanding Blink is likely. Siege tank on the way. Another siege tank. Been really favoring those. I mean, that is the best defense against Blink Stalkers. Is just zoning them out with the tanks. Unfortunately, you have to seed some of your main. Some of the main base is just given up to the Blink Stalkers on most maps. Most of the time on purpose in order to draw them further and potentially do more damage. Now, a difference this game is Heromarine no attempt at counter damage. It's all defense here. Everything he has is on his side of the map. Preparing to defend against this. MaxPax is ready to blink. Main base, open for business. Siege tank in action. Viking is here, so that, while it is unlikely to outright kill the Prism, it does make things even dicier. Blogsing goes straight for the tank. Auto turret slapped down. And is that enough with an unsiege tank coming out? The Viking looking for that Prism. Gets the Viking, blinks out. MaxPax again with the Stalkers. I think this one was worth it, though. There's no third command center from Heromarine. He got the Raven. He got a siege tank. He got the Viking. All these expensive, valuable units you can't just spam out of your barracks. MaxPax is continuing to grind open. He wants that tank. Gonna take... Ooh, took another shot there. The unsiege tanks still do really solid DPS against individual stalkers. Ooh, I think that was a bit of a miscalculation. He really wanted the tank, but the outright DPS of the Marines as well as unsiege tanks. And there was a nice shot at the last second that really softened up the rest of the stalkers, and I think that so far has tilted it a little bit further back into Heromarines' favor. MaxPax gonna go for it again. Oh, he's baiting. He's pretending like he doesn't have more stalkers. He's still chilling in the main. I'm not sure if this is... Now, this is awkward. The stalkers are spotted. They're still in the main... They're still inside the house. Wow, the main base is huge on this map. Oh, the turret, though. There should still be a recall ready. Trying to pin down. Is there a Viking on the way? No. Oh, no. Oh. Right up until that moment, I would say that MaxPax was towing the line. But losing the Prism has completely taken the anchor away here for Heromarine. Gets the Observer, and now MaxPax is in the dark, and the map is dark and full of Terrans. He knows the tank push is coming, and he's not ready for it. He's now getting charged. He's about to finish 5 more gates, but he's going to get maybe 1 warp in. Oh, he really needed to keep Heromarine busy for at least another minute, ideally. At least keeping a few units at home. Like, if he could keep a siege tank and 8 or 9 Marines or something, like, just something. But now, Heromarine realizes how much control he has and will drop out his namesake. The probe's trying to run already 11 down. And showing why it's called the Big Game Weekly. Well, loses 1 medevac, but already did so much damage. There's no units here. Combat shield isn't even done, but there's just nothing here. MaxPax does not have enough units. Heromarine is tearing him apart. The medevac escapes the main. He just has this killer instinct. The only game is it. I'm not calling it yet. Okay, I am a little. It's really hallucinated Archon. The only game where Heromarine really dropping was essentially a straight-up knockout with the Blink Stalkers. Almost a build order loss that he turned into a win. What a dominant performance. And by that I mean, it didn't feel like a professional beating up on a high schooler. It felt like rank 1 versus rank 2. Here, clearly, Heromarine the better player, but not by so much there was no chance, just by enough that he clearly wins this round. I gotta say, it feels like Heromarine went back and corrected his mistakes. He's like, no, let me take another shot at that Banshee build. I know what I did wrong. And for someone who spends all day laddering on stream with no delay, commentating in his second language, I'm not jealous. I think that was essentially a ladder situation. He's like, no, I can do it better. And he comes back and he does it better. Except he does it in the grand finals of the Big Game Weekly, and he deserves this victory. Great games all across the board. Solid games from Big Game. MaxPax still showing some very good play. But that early game is a real tumultuous time for the Protoss. And still struggling to tread it. Anyways, nobody cares about this part of the video. We've already yammered on enough. Check out this one. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.